The fundamental understanding people have to have about text is that somebody or somebody's made them. A text is not accidental, but rather is the result of choices that a person or people made in order to foster a particular sort of response. And that once I understand that, then it helps me see, well, if a person did X, they must have wanted to have Y kind of response, because if they wouldn't have wanted Y, they would have done this other thing. Once I understand that texts are not either accidental or inevitable, then I can try to understand the moves that a maker is making in order to foster a particular kind of response. And then I can position, then as a consumer, I can understand, how do I feel about being positioned that way? Mm-hmm. Text as a turn an ongoing cultural conversation. I think we make a mistake if we think about text as separate things. So as an English teacher, to say I'm doing Romeo and Juliet doesn't make sense to me, because texts are always part of an intertextual grid, and the intertextual grid against which we understand text, I think, has both a conceptual and a generic trajectory. So we read text as something, and we read text to be about something, recognizing both of those things, that there are other texts that relate to it in some kind of way. So we make a mistake if we read text independent of that conceptual and generic trajectory in which they are arrayed. I don't know.
Generic meaning the genre.
The genre
generic. Yeah.
And threshold concepts, the way I understand them, which is those concepts that are necessary for you to learn other concepts, and that once you get them, it irrevocably changes your understanding of the domain in which you're operating. I think that that's a key understanding in textual studies. Once we recognize that texts are made things, then we can understand the sign systems or the signs that are being used and the ends to which they're being used. So that's what I got.